Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, I speak on topics such as addiction, like this video, this PowerPoint. I also speak on self-improvement, self-development. On this journey I'm on right now, the whole point of making this YouTube channel was to help men, was to make men be the best version of themselves that they possibly can. So today I'm speaking on a topic which is very close to my heart, which I struggled with for many years, which I tore down friendships, which I made very hard for my partner. She was with me the whole 6-7 years that I struggled with drugs and alcohol. And today I want to help you. Maybe you're in the situation where you feel like you're stuck in a rut. You're using drugs, alcohol on a weekly, maybe daily basis, the same way that I was. And I want to get you out of that. Let's make this channel about bettering men. So let's get into this video. As you can see on the left side of the PowerPoint, this is a picture, I believe it was the day after my 20th birthday. And I'd been using drugs all night prior, probably till 5-6 a.m. in the morning. And this is at my girlfriend's house the day after. As you can see, I was a mess. Now this picture on the right hand side was a picture of me on Christmas Day of 2024. In this picture I was 2 months sober, feeling better than ever, looking better than I have before, and I'm now just under 6 months sober. I'm not saying that I've necessarily figured it out, but the information I'm about to give you in this video is what I've learned on my journey so far. Let's get straight into it. Understanding Addiction Beyond Substances by Zachary, which is of course me. So, why I feel like I'm qualified to speak on this topic. I may need to move the camera here. Okay, we've moved it. Now, I've struggled with addiction my whole life. It's only recently I've come out the other end and began to heal myself. I never realised what was actually possible for me until I cut ties with my old life. As you can see in the top picture, that's me smoking weed in my old garage. And the picture down below is me smoking in a non-smoking area under the influence of alcohol and cocaine. A very heavy night in this video, in this picture here. Now I'm on this journey of bringing people out of this with me. This is what I'm extremely passionate about. I know how low it can feel, that guilt, that shame the next day. When you're just sick, you're completely sick to death. You told yourself that night that you would not drink or you would not use drugs. Maybe you said, oh, I'll just have a couple of beers, and it turned into a heavy session. You're walking home. The birds are chirping. You know, I feel like I've got PTSD from them birds, man. I walk home now, or maybe I'll go on an early morning walk and I hear the birds the same way I would when I was using cocaine, when I'd be walking back from a heavy session that night. I hear the birds now, and it almost gives me appreciation for the life I now have, because it reminds me of how far I've come. So my question for you is, when will the pain become awful enough for you to finally make the leap? It had to get extremely painful for me in my own brain. Mentally, I wish I didn't, but I had to cry to myself so many fucking weekends, so many Sundays, so many Mondays in complete pain and agony, guilt, shame, absolutely guilt-ridden. It really had to get that painful for me to actually realise, right, that I can't do this any longer. I had to make so many mistakes, which I now see as lessons. One of my tattoos on my hand, I can take a lesson from the darkness, because all of these times that I messed up, I made mistakes, they're all lessons, and they've taught me to be a better man. Okay, so understanding the root causes of addiction. Now, it's okay saying, right, I'm addicted to this, I can't stop using this, I don't understand why I keep promising myself one thing and doing another. Now, Einstein said, I have a tattoo of Einstein on my arm. Einstein said, repeating the same process over and over again, expecting a different result, is the definition of insanity. Now, are we going insane? Why do we keep saying, on Monday morning, that's it, I'm done with alcohol. Or the night after a alcohol binge or a drug binge, why do we keep saying, right, I'm done with it again and again and again? Are we going insane? And the truth is that we're addicted. We are addicted to running away from our reality. And it's time to understand why that is. So understanding the root causes of addiction. A lot of us are stuck in the same cycles year in, year out. I believe this is not only due to repeating the processes, which every time strengthens our neural pathways in your brain. So when we repeat something, whether it's watching porn, whether it's smoking cigarettes, whether it's using drugs, whether it's drinking alcohol, when we repeat that habit, it strengthens the neural pathway in our brain. So we get stressed, okay? We reach for a cigarette. We then associate getting stressed with getting relief from the cigarette. So this is going to strengthen that pathway in the brain. But also because we do not understand why we use a substance in the first place. On to the next slide. Why does this matter? Addiction isn't just a behavior problem. It's an emotional and physiological survival response. Real healing starts with understanding the why. We need to understand the why. As I said before, it's all right saying, I'm addicted to this, I can't stop doing this. But we need to understand the why. And then maybe we can start to put systems in place to get ourselves out of these habits. Addiction is the tape for an old wound. It's not fixing anything. The addiction is just covering it up. Maybe you've had a stressful day at work and you come home and you have a bottle of beer or some vodka or something like this. And we think, a lot of us know. We know it's not fixing the problem. It's just a way of running away from our reality. And it's just covering the wound for that period of time. When I drank alcohol, it would just numb my brain. It would silence my brain for the period of time that I was drinking that alcohol. Addiction is the symptom, not the problem. Okay, so people seek relief, not just a high. They want relief from reality. They want relief from their life. Maybe they're not satisfied with how they're living. Maybe they're not happy with their life. Here's a picture of me. I believe this day I actually crashed a van. I'll go into my life story more. If you're interested in listening to my life story, then there's other videos where I've briefly spoke on it, but I will make a life story video. So here's a picture. As you can see, I'm completely intoxicated. I'm smoking a cigar. I've got a vape, a bottle of Peroni, probably vodka and lemonade. So we seek relief, not just a high. Common roots are pain, trauma, emotional neglect. In this human experience, we all pick up trauma. We all have pain, whether it's minute or huge, whether it's small or big. We all pick up pain, unfortunately. It's a part of life. So we need to learn how to deal with that pain rather than running away from it through the alcohol or through the drugs and substances. Addiction is often a coping mechanism. For many years in my life, I used it to cope. I struggled with trauma in the past. I struggled with being insecure, not feeling comfortable in my own skin. Since going to AA, I understand that many of us alcoholics, we struggle with not feeling comfortable in our own skin. We feel like the only thing that takes the edge, the anxiety off from life is that one drink. I remember when I would drink, the first beer would just completely numb my brain. But that's all it's doing. It's numbing our brain. Now let's get on to the next slide. Okay, so what happens in the brain? We need to actually understand what happens. Why do we find ourselves stuck in this cycle when we said we were going to quit? Maybe we promised a partner that we was going to stop drinking. That was my last time, babe. I'm not drinking anymore. I did it so many times, so I know exactly how you feel. Dopamine equals pleasure or a reward chemical. So repetition equals rewired brain pathways. So as I was saying in a previous slide, when you do that habit again and again and again, whether it's porn, whether it's drinking, whether it's drugs, you're strengthening that pathway in your brain. So we have the cue, okay? So maybe we have a trigger. Say whether it's someone at work's pissed you off, or the missus is kicked off and now you feel the need. That's the cue. You feel the need to drink now. Okay, so now you start craving the substance. The only thing that's going to numb that pain, the only thing that's going to numb the reality which we're facing is the alcohol. So we start to crave it. We start to think, I told myself I wouldn't do it, but this is getting a bit much now. And the only thing that's going to numb that is the alcohol or the drugs, whichever your preferred substance is. I know there's many substances. Now we go into the response. So what is the response? Maybe we start to panic. We start to think, as I said, the only thing that's going to get us away from this is that numbing. We need to numb our brain. Boom. Reward. We're gonna take part in the habit. We're going to consume this drug or alcohol. And then after, we're going to feel the shame. Now, the shame's the worst thing. This is one of the main reasons why I wanted to quit, because how shit I felt the day after using. I would always say to my friends, even whilst we was drinking, maybe I was a bit of a party pooper, but I used to get very deep when I would use these substances. I used to really it would make it a lot easier to voice my opinions, to voice my problems, to voice my emotions. So when I'd go out for a drink with the boys, I'd say, do you guys not feel shit the next day? Because I feel awful. Some of them days, the day after, just envisioning it now, the day after using alcohol, my drugs of choice were usually alcohol and cocaine, and the day after, I just didn't want to see the world. I would lock myself in my room. I wouldn't even go and speak to my parents. I didn't want to see anyone. I would sneak almost to the kitchen, try to not get seen, get my food because I hadn't eaten for probably 24, 36 hours. I'd get my food and quickly sneak back up to my room. The room would probably just stink of food, and I'd leave a plate next to my bed. And I'd just be riddled with shame and guilt. I can't even put it into words. I'm sure if you're watching this video, maybe you can relate. Just riddled with that shame, just wanting to get out of my own skin. The reason I drank in the first place was to get out of my own skin. And now, the next day was 10 times worse. Let's get on to the next slide. So, reflective exercise, know your triggers. Now, this video isn't just to help you understand addiction. This video is to help you hopefully fix it, hopefully start to dig into why it is you use. So I've listed 4 questions. Hopefully you can please ask yourself these questions. If you're struggling like I have, if you felt any of the emotions what I've mentioned in this video, please ask yourself these questions and get real with yourself, man. You know, towards the end of my addictions, I really had to get real with myself. Zach, how much longer can you do this for? How many more friendships, relationships will you tear apart before you have nothing? It got to the point where I was thinking, I'm either going to end up dead, in prison, or just fucking kill myself because I can't get away from this feeling anymore. So, first question, what emotion usually comes before I use? So, how do you feel before you use? What triggers it? Why do you feel the need to use? Okay, yeah, so why do you feel the need to use? Usually, before I would use, it would be either work pissing me off, not enjoying what I was doing for work, not enjoying my life, maybe an argument with the missus. It would get to the point where I would almost, without even realising it, it's only now that I've come out of this crazy cycle because it is fucking insane. I would probably cause arguments with my partner or with my family to then have an excuse to use. Oh, you've pissed me off, so I'm just going to go and self-destruct and it's all your fault. That's another thing I've learned in AA. A lot of people who use drugs and alcohol, they blame everyone else. They blame the whole world for why they use. when really it's their thinking. It's the thinking, the thoughts in our brains that create us to use. It's not the people around us. Unfortunately, there's always going to be things that piss you off in the world. There's always going to be people that don't act how you want them to act. And you need to try and take yourself away from the emotion, the situation. Maybe someone's pissed you off. That's their fault. That's their problem. That's how they're acting. Maybe they're negative. Have some boundaries. You need to put boundaries in place and remove yourself. I mentioned in yesterday's video that you need to have boundaries if there's a friend who's negative or a friend who's maybe influencing you badly, peer pressuring you, or someone that you would just use with. Cut them off. It doesn't have to be forever. But I guarantee when you have cut them off and you realise how much better you are on your own, you'll probably not want to see them again anyway. I cut all of my old friends off. I cut ties, as I mentioned in one of the previous slides, I cut ties completely with my old life because that's how bad I wanted it. I didn't care what anyone thought. I just wanted to get sober more than anything. And that's kind of the point that it has to get to. You have to want it more than anything. You have to be willing to do everything to get out of the situation you're in. What do I hope to feel afterwards? What do you hope to feel after you've used? Maybe like I've mentioned, it's numbing your brain, running away from reality. What else would I hope to feel afterwards? Really just numbing, relief. A lot of us use for relief from normal life. As I've mentioned, life isn't easy. It can throw a lot of hurdles and it can be rough. So you have to try your best to control your emotions. Try your best to look at the positive things in life. As humans, human nature, we always focus on the negatives. You can be having the perfect day, and one thing goes wrong, and that causes your whole brain to have a panic attack, a nervous breakdown, and all you can focus on is the negative. Try your best to focus on the positive. I know it's hard, but it's something that will really help you. Okay, maybe you've had a shit day. Something that will really help you with this is gratitude. So a task that I would say would really help you is maybe write 5 things first thing in the morning which you're grateful for, whether it's your relationship with your partner, whether it's the bed you sleep in, whether it's the air you breathe, the trees that surround you, anything. Just try and write at least 3 things, maybe 5 maximum. Do that twice per day. Write it first thing in the morning, so you've woke up, you've wrote your gratitude, you're positive about the day. Then come home and say what you was grateful for in the day. My work colleagues were lovely to me. My mum made me dinner. I treated myself with respect. It doesn't have to be about what others have done for you. Treat yourself as you would treat others, and hopefully that is in a nice way. A lot of the time we treat ourselves so much worse than we treat others. Even whilst I was using, I would try my best to be good to the people around me, but I'd be self-destructing myself. I've also got a tattoo on my leg, which is about self-sabotage. It says, "Not one person can make or break what I'm doing, except me or God. Even as you progress, you need the discipline to keep from backtracking and sabotaging the success as it's happening." Okay, so what am I escaping from? Is it work? Is it reality in general? Is it a relationship that you're not happy in? Is it children stressing you out? I don't currently have children myself, so I can't speak on the topic too much, but from speaking to people, I had a cousin who went abroad and he said that it was really stressful. This isn't someone who really struggles with alcohol or substances, but he said it was really stressful to go away in a camper van with children. Like, imagine kids running around when you're trying to relax and you're in a very confined space. I can imagine how hard it is with children, even in a house. I guess that's what what we signed up for. I'm sure I've got it all to come. Um, Hopefully, I study and learn ways to manage stress better. Right now, I would say I'm pretty good at managing the stress. I could never manage stress when I was using. One little thing would feel like the end of the world. I'm sure you know if you've drank alcohol before and you've had a bad hangover, that beer fear the next day, one small tiny thing can feel like the absolute end of the world. And I promise you it's not. And finally, question 4, what would my addiction say it's protecting me from? So, since I've gone to AA, and if anyone is thinking about going to AA and you are struggling with alcohol, you've noticed, you've been truthful with yourself, it's an issue. Maybe it's causing problems in your relationship, maybe it's just causing problems in your own brain. I would seriously recommend everyone to go to AA and go in there with an open mind. Don't look for the differences, look for the similarities. That's what someone told me before I went. If I was looking for the differences, I'd go, well, everyone's old here. I'm not a drug addict. Be realistic and look for the similarities. So what would my addiction say it's protecting me from? We make up things in our own brain. Our addictions will twist thoughts to make us feel the need to use. Maybe you've had a small argument with your partner and your brain will almost adjust and change to make it think it was so much worse than it actually was. Our brains lie to us, especially as addicts and alcoholics. Our brains almost make things up as an excuse for us to use. As I mentioned previously, I would almost cause arguments so that I could go, right, fuck off then, I'm going out. And then self-destruct. And it's only now that I understand that that is because I was addicted. I needed to find an escape, so I would hurt people around me to achieve the substance that I wanted to use. It's crazy, I know, but it is real and it does happen. And you may be doing it without even realizing. So if that maybe rings a bell or you feel like, oh, that's something I might actually do, just try and keep an eye on it. Try and analyze everything. It's not easy. I'm not saying going sober is going to be easy, because all them emotions you were trying to numb throughout are going to come back even harder. When I first got sober, I was feeling the insecurity that I used to feel as a child, which is now I realize why I wanted to use drugs and run away, because I was never comfortable in my own skin. It's only through building myself up, through doing my non-negotiables, whether it's an ice, this may seem stupid to someone, but whether it's just a cold shower in the morning, an ice bath, whether it's just meditating, just sitting in silence and breathing for 5 to 10 minutes, no distractions, just sit with your thoughts. I've spoke about before meditating, just see thoughts. If you haven't read the book Awareness, I'd really recommend that on meditating. See the thoughts, let them come in, and let them go. Let them go out the other side. Don't judge the thoughts, just let them pass on. These thoughts will pass. A famous quote, I believe was from Alan Watts, is "This too shall pass." Might be even from the Bible. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's from Alan Watts, but this too shall pass. The emotion you're feeling right now, it will go. You don't need to use this emotion as an excuse to use. On to the next slide. So, healthier coping strategies. Now, this video wasn't just about helping you understand addiction. This is about helping you to get out of addiction, get that relief that you are looking for, you're searching for within substances. Let's actually try and better yourself. As I've mentioned at the start of this video, my channel is about helping people. This is what I'm passionate about, regardless of the hateful comments I get in certain videos. I know deep down that I'm trying my best to spread positivity. And when you know that, it doesn't matter what anyone else says, because you know that you're being true to yourself. We all need relief. These tools offer healthier ways to soothe and reconnect with yourself. As I've mentioned, a lot of the time we use drugs, we use substances, it's for relief. hopefully some of these tools can help you. So number one, journaling. Release unspoken feelings. I never journaled at all in my life, and throughout the first, I think, 3 to 4 months, I journaled every single night. Whether it was, like I was saying earlier, a gratitude list, what you're grateful for. But it doesn't have to be that. If it's negative emotions, get them down on some paper. You'll be shocked how much relief you can get from just speaking about your problems, from just writing them down. It can really give you that relief. It feels like an outlet. You can get it out on paper. I had a shit day. I hate my boss. Just get it out. Write it all on that paper. And it's really, I haven't even done this yet, but I will do at some point. It would be really interesting to look back through your sobriety journey and see how much more positive you got along the journey. Meditation or breath work calm your nervous system. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, 5 to 10 minutes, put a timer on your phone. If you have an alarm clock, put a 10-minute timer on the alarm clock and just close your eyes. You don't have to. You can do it in different ways. Everyone's meditation can be different. Maybe you focus on a candle, or you focus on one specific object in the room, whether it's a picture. But the way I do it is a 10-minute timer, phone on do not disturb, and just simply breathe. One deep breath in through your nose, and one out through the mouth with pursed lips, which basically means like that, like you're blowing smoke out. When you breathe out as much as you can until you have no air left, and then repeat the process. So they're the first two. Therapy or support, you are not alone. I many times was told by my girlfriend, you need to go to therapy. Like, you have issues that you're not dealing with. And I didn't go as much as I probably should have, but I did go. And every time I walked out of that therapy room, I felt a relief. I felt like I got it off my chest, the same way I spoke about the journaling. Therapy is an even more powerful tool to get it off your chest. You can't imagine the relief you get from just getting it out. Yesterday, I made a video on hate. If you want to, you can go and watch that as well. I made a video on hate. I had a few hate comments, and after speaking about it in the video, I felt even calmer after. Just speaking about something. Don't knock it until you've tried it. Get it off your chest, whether it's with a family member who you can trust, whether it's paid therapy, the same thing that I did. I promise you it will help you more than you realise. And finally, movement. Move energy through the body. I'm a massive advocate for training, for working out. I think I would have gone a lot more downhill if it wasn't for trying to stay in shape, if it wasn't for trying to look a certain way, if it wasn't for trying to keep my mind at least a little bit on track in the low points. Working out saved my life, and I will go into that on a different day in a lot more detail. But right now, I just want to say, just go and get a bit of movement, whether it's a walk in the park, whether it's a run, whether it's just a few press-ups in your room just to get a bit of anger out, or a boxing bag or something like this. It will really help you. So with these 4 healthier coping strategies, at least try one. As I said at the start, don't knock anything until you've tried it. I may have thought, journaling's stupid, how is that going to help me? I put therapy off for years. I didn't really meditate as much as I should have. And I wasn't as consistent with the gym as I would have liked to have been. Now I do all of these things bar therapy. I journal most days. I haven't done it as much recently, to be completely honest. I feel pretty at peace in my life now. If anything, the only time I really journal is, like I've mentioned, when I need to get something off my chest. Don't knock any of these things till you've tried it. You don't have to try all 4. Whether you try just one, Maybe just release them unspoken feelings in a journal. Maybe just go to therapy. You might have thought about it before. Just go and give it one try. Maybe you've thought about AA. If I never walked through them AA doors, I may not be here to tell the story today. I definitely wouldn't have been here at my missus's parents' house if I didn't sort my shit out. If you don't know, I'm here in Poland right now. Another example, last time I was here in Poland, I'd be drinking all night with her granddad. I was probably drinking a lot quicker than him. I noticed very quickly drinking around other people that I would drink to excess. I would drink very, very quickly. To one normal person's beer, I may have had 2 or 3. If you notice signs like that already, you potentially have a problem. Now, this video isn't necessarily to get you to be sober. This video is more to help you understand addiction a little bit more. And you don't have to go sober forever. I will not use again in my life because it does not work for me. I cannot balance things. I can't. The only thing I can balance, I may have an occasional cigar at the minute, and if you don't know, this is a cigar cutter. That is the only thing I can really balance right now, and it's not affecting my mind state. If you don't know, nicotine it can have cognitive benefits, so it can help increase brain function. Nicotine's the only thing, and caffeine I consume nowadays. If this is something that has really resonated with you, don't be afraid to drop a comment. Maybe if you just want to give some thanks on the video, I get back to all the comments and I appreciate them so much, especially with the hate comments. The positive comments really make me smile, man. So yeah, if this has resonated and you want to drop a comment, that's perfectly fine. If you want to like it, that's also fine. Finally, if you do feel like you need some more help, you don't know which direction to go in, you don't know how to go about this, and you would like help from someone who is on the journey themselves and practices what they preach, you can always DM me on Instagram. I always leave my Instagram in the description, and you can also book a 30-minute call with me. It can be longer if you want. Oh, little thumbs up there. It can be longer if you want. I'm here to help people. I know the pain. I know how it can feel. And it's not a pleasant experience, addiction. So you can message me on Instagram. You can also book a call with me in the description. And finally, I have a free Telegram where I try and motivate people to be the best version of themselves. Guys, I appreciate you all. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and drop any comments of any questions. Maybe you want me to speak on another subject. Just drop it in the comments and I'll be sure to speak on it. So the key takeaways from this video: your addiction isn't the enemy, it's a messenger. These are just signs that you have unresolved trauma, unresolved pain, insecurities. It's a message, it's a sign to you that something needs to change. You have the power to choose a different path. And this video, hopefully, will give you that self-awareness to begin your transformation. As you can see here, one of my last beers ever. A video of me crying, which was pretty much a weekly basis. At some points, maybe twice per week, due to the amount of serotonin and dopamine I had blasted out over the weekend. And here is here's the night I found out oysters are an aphrodisiac. But not only that, this picture's important because this is one of my first meals with my other half that I went on with not drinking. And I couldn't believe, just from going to AA, the weight that was lifted off my shoulders. I can walk into a pub now I can go to Amsterdam if I want and not consume weed. That would never, ever, ever be a possibility to me in my life until I made this transformation. Thanks, guys.